computer. Okay. Recording. Okay. Good.
Morning, everyone.
Who are we still waiting for?
I think we're just going to have to get on with it anyway. That they know what the time is. We're recording it, so yeah, we'll put it.
Fab. Okay.
In the group. Can everyone just put your microphones on? Turn them off. What today was just about, we just wanted to have a catch up with you all, just to see where you're at, a chance for you to ask any questions. We'll go around sort of individually if there's anything that you are particularly struggling with. So this we're doing our lesson planning as well, so this will obviously help us know what we potentially need to spend more time on with you. So if you are, say for example, all struggling with the brow mapping, obviously we are going to be going over this face to face. It just gives us a bit of scope of where you're at as well. So we've got, how long have we got? Some of you have got 2 weeks on Monday, some of you have got about a month, 4 weeks left. So we just want to see where you're at. It's getting real now, isn't it? And just see if you needed any help with whether it's anything to do with your license or your insurance or your room or just anything you wanted to ask. Okay, so this is just your time for us to find out where you are and your chance to ask us any questions. Okay, so
what I've got as well is I've got like a list going on, so I've just got things to tick off to see if everyone's done certain things as well, and if not, it's almost like a little bit of a reminder for you to kind of get yourself kind of jogging along. Jade's got up the timeline as well of learning, so it's almost like this is if you
crunch time.
Yeah, crunch time. So basically, if things have kind of been lapsing in certain areas, you know now that you've got a certain amount of time to kind of go, right, I need to focus on this, and then literally, it's time, literally 2 weeks to go, guys, for the Devon lot. So it's getting exciting now. It's getting exciting and maybe a little bit nerve-wracking. But we're here to help. And there's so much in the online portals, all the videos that we've sent in. So it's almost like a bit of a reminder that if you are struggling in certain areas, it's almost to rewind your WhatsApp group and go onto your videos that we've sent you and kind of rewatch certain areas. This is probably something that someone's asked along the way that you are still struggling with. So it's almost like, like go back through, kind of go, yeah, I'm happy with that, and kind of have it as a bit of a have a day kind of going through and almost making yourself clear on what your areas are of like needing improvement and where you feel comfortable and have kind of like got yourself happy. It's like a tick sheet almost. So I'm just going to ask a couple of people, or not a couple of people, I'm going to go around and just ask, infection control, can everyone put their hands up if they've completed it and are happy with the infection control? I know that Claire, I emailed back and they're changing the name for me. So you should get an email, literally, because it's in my name. Your infection control is in my name, so they're changing the name, so they should email you directly. Okay, fab. So everyone has done their infection control and is happy with it? No? Okay, so let me just write. I'm going to write my little list. Essex, Kate. Okay, so we just need to get that complete before the day. It won't take long, literally. It's only an hour and a half, I think. 2 hours tops. Fab. Right, okay, next one, online learning. Has everyone finished all their modules, or has anyone got any modules that they need to still finish? So
maybe put your hands up if you haven't done it.
Okay, so Faye, you just need to, what have you got left to do, honey?
No, I've done it.
Oh, you've done it.
My hand up thinking you meant.
All right. So is there anyone that hasn't done it? Put your hands up for us who hasn't done the online learning portal. Oh, you beauties. Lovely. Perfect.
Okay. Has everyone sorted out their, I'm going to go just down the list a minute, Jane, their jabs, to have their hepatitis B jab? Yeah, no, so literally put that on your list. If you haven't sorted that out, pop that on your list. That is an important one. We don't want, it's just one of those ones you just need to get into the diary and get sorted. I know that obviously I don't know how doctors are with the whole COVID thing, whether they're doing many at the moment or not, but if you just ring them, they should be able to sort it for you.
It's probably a private company. It's definitely a private company up here that have to, there's for the Essex girls, there's a clinic called the Master Clinic. There's one in Leeds, but there might be some over Essex as well, but I had to pay for mine. Obviously, Claire, you wouldn't be able to have yours. You're still breastfeeding, I believe. So, yeah, just obviously hang on until, and Ria, maybe you are as well. So.
Has anyone had it done already? Yeah, 1, 2.
Oh, check you out. So organised. Love it.
I only had it done because I went travelling, and then you can have a booster if you've already had it in the last 5 years. Because I went travelling, you can get a booster.
Perfect. Fabulous.
Is it a legal requirement?
It's not a legal requirement, but obviously if you poke yourself with your needle, then it's a protection. So it's entirely up to you, but obviously
it's for me.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's not, but I personally would, because I've poked myself a couple of times.
Yeah, we've got tattooed little fingers here. Yeah. It will happen. You will stab yourself several times.
Obviously, the rule is on that. If you do get yourself a needle injury, you should take yourself to minor injuries. That's what we have to tell you. However, if you decide not to, then that's your decision. Personally, I've never gone, so I've just taken my glove off and just pushed a bit and pushed the blood out. But I'm not telling you that. Literally, it's your decision whether you decide to go to the hospital with your things. You just might have to have a check. So I just haven't.
The chemicals, the strong, I got told on my training, what you'll disinfect your room with, literally squeeze the blood out, but just put your finger in your chemgene or your anagene solution. I know that's, but yeah, it will kill anything that is potentially there. But if you squeeze it out and get yourself to like bleed, but yeah, that's all little tips we'll tell you on the academy days. But while we're on it, I thought I'd just mention.
Fab. Council licenses. Obviously, there's going to be a couple of you that have had them already, like Manda, you've got yours probably, haven't you? Because before, has anyone else need to still talk to their council, or has everyone been in contact? So Kate, you just need to go and talk to your council.
And Ria, just unmute your microphone, Ria. How are you getting on with it?
Yes, so I was originally having a house built. Now I've got a room and it's like an ensuite. So but my only problem was, do I need to have 2 sinks? Because I've got a sink in the ensuite, but I know some of the girls had issue with the sink, but no, it's fine.
As long as you don't, if you can just prop the ensuite door open at all times, as long as no one has to touch a door handle to get to the sink. I know some people have got a garage converted and then they've got a little kitchen off of it. You can't have that sink where you prepare food. So an ensuite is fine. As long as you've got something propped with the door open, that would be fine. Yeah, cool. All right, lovely.
Right, thank you.
Salon, is everyone, while we're on this kind of subject, is there any other questions, or is anyone struggling with the setup of their salon? Has anyone got any questions on their salons and stuff?
Go for it, Jane.
Yeah, we're having a house conversion at the moment, so our garden room is literally full up with my kitchen. So I'm having I can't prepare anything until that's sort of finished. So I have been told it's going to be completed in May. So I think it's just, as and when I can do it, really. And I haven't ordered any stuff yet. And I've only just approached the council recently, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. So I feel like I'm all a bit behind with that side of it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It's like a bed, your lights, you can order it like Amazon next day. Don't panic.
Yeah.
Literally, we've got the flooring going down in the academy today and yesterday, so it should be done by the end of the day. And then we've got to order all the stuff, because So literally, I've got everything ready to go, but it can take 4 or 5 days to arrive. So
yeah, and I've not got a sink out, whatnot, got in either, so I'm a bit worried about that. But I'm going to portable.
Yeah, Gemma, you put the link in, didn't you? For that really nice
Yeah.
electric sink. So yeah, it's all a case of just pressing the button really for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
got the room ready.
Yeah, I know. It's
You
just
probably
like,
want to get
we're
started,
ordering
don't you?
kitchens, and you know, it's just everything. Where to put anything? It's just a
Oh
bit
God.
mad. But anyway, we'll get round it at some point. Thank you.
Bridie's got a nice summer house at the end of her
I know.
garden.
I'm going to go and stay there.
Cool. Okay. Okay. Cool. So salon related questions. No one's got any other questions related to the salon. Cool. That's fine. So what was next on your list, Jem?
Like literally like branding, logos. Is everyone happy, or has anyone got any questions around like the branding, kind of setting themselves up, marketing? Obviously we will be giving you a whole inclusive like business file on your training days, so we've got like a manual on the business side of things. However, if there's any questions that you kind of like thinking, oh God, I don't know what to do, then chuck them in now, because obviously some people are more ahead on that side, some people have still got that side to do. You know, has everyone got their name that they want to call themselves in their head? They started to get like a logo together, or even if it's on Canva and just stuff like that, because as soon as you come on your training days, what we want you to do is be having almost like your case studies lined up ready. We want you to get out those training days and really just hit the ground running, because the quicker that you go ahead and get some people in and start tattooing them, the quicker that you'll feel more confident, and that will lead on. If you leave it too long after your training days, if you don't get all of this ready now, when you come out of your training days, if you haven't got certain things in place and you're waiting then maybe a month, your confidence will go, do you know, like, because it won't be at the forefront of your mind. So that's why we're kind of asking these questions now, so that when you come out of your training days, you're like, right, this is all ready, do you know, like we've done all this section and I can literally get someone in the next day and tattoo them, do you know? And that's almost what we want you to do. That's what Jade and I did, and I do think that that's helped, isn't it? Do you know, like to the confidence side, that first tattoo that you do outside of the academy is probably the most nerve-wracking one, because you're on your own, do you know, like you're not on your own, we're here, but you're on your own with that client. So the more that you ask questions, the more that we do this now, the more confident that you're going to go in, and it will just help you in the long run. Once you've done that first one, you'll be buzzing, do you know, like literally you'll be so happy that you've done it. And do you know, like then it will just be easier every time after that. But if you've still got like kind of logos to sort out, and I'm not saying logos are the most important thing in the world, do you know, like you don't have to have a logo, but it just helps you get your clients in, do you know? So yeah, has anyone got any questions along like branding, logos, social media?
We will cover all this as well. Go for it, Jane.
Sorry, I need help. Yeah.
Go for it. That's what we're here for.
So are we meant to sort of start up our own Instagram page and stuff like that now? I mean, how do we go about advertising, and how do we get these clients to come and, you know, get people into for our first time and stuff like that?
So we'll go through all this obviously when we see you. We've done a whole section of that, but I would just I know you've spoken to your friends, haven't you, about possibly would they have it done and stuff like that. So I would just sort of try and just speak to people and line them up. If you can't, I mean, obviously you're gonna have to find people from somewhere, but
You know what
friends.
I did a little post, and I just used like the KB, obviously like the Nouveau logo, with someone was like tattooing a face, do you know, and it was a very generic picture, because obviously there was no pictures of me or anything, and I just put coming soon. Do you know, like I'm starting a new business, and I just explained what I was doing. Any questions, anyone that wants to know more, please feel free to message me. And that's how I did my first post. And then I started pushing little pictures in as obviously I started doing them, or I had them. And on our academy days, what Jade and I will go around and do is we'll take your phones and we'll take photos of you doing the tattooing. So we'll literally go around everybody, take your phones. We'll obviously be taking photos for ourselves as well on our phone, but we'll take them with yours, do you know, like So, and then if you want any specific ones, like if you've got any in mind that you've seen and you like, we'll grab some photos, and then you've got those to then use straight away after your social, you know, your academy days.
Right.
And that then gets a load of people. As well as that, obviously, you know, like you speak to friends, and I always just said, do you know, like, to my friends, are you happy for me to tattoo your face? Do you know, like, you know, like literally they were like, yeah, that's fine. Do you know, like, and I was like, oh, I'll get in contact if anyone wants, you know, let me know if you know anyone that wants it done as well, because it'll be cheaper to start with, and then it'll go up. So, and you know what some people are like, some people just grab because it's that word cheaper, or do you know, like, at first. And then you just need to analyze if they're the right people for you as well. So, do you know, like, you don't want to take someone that is such a perfectionist that they're going to scare you on that first one. Like my first tattoo, my first girl was one of my friends. She came over with her daughter. My kids played outside. James was here. I went downstairs and we just took the afternoon. And I probably only did about 8 lines on her face on each side, but it took me about 4 hours. Do you know, like literally. And I came up and they weren't perfect, but they were fine. And I got it through, but it was comfortable, because she was like, Jem, I trust you, like, don't worry, like, literally, I'm happy. And she just sat back and chilled. She wasn't like, oh my God, I think this one's a little bit this, and I think this one's a little bit this. Right. So make sure that you judge the person. You don't want someone that's going to be such a picky person. First one, because it will scare you, because, and there is those people out there, do you know, even though they're like, oh, I'm so easygoing. I don't know how I'm so easygoing, and then they're in the mirror, they're like, oh, I think it might just need another bit there. And all of a sudden, the brow isn't what we've designed, what we've shown you, it's what they think they want, but they don't know what they want. Do you know? So they also don't know. So if you're both in that position and you're just doing what they say, you're going to turn out with these brows that are
and I think once obviously we've done the practical days, we're going to know exactly how it feels, and you know, because it's different, isn't it, on real skin. So we haven't well, apart from you, Misha, who've on your foot.
I love that. I love it. Love it. I love
it. Oh, thank you.
Another thing, just while we're on that, so you may have lined all your model up, you may have lined one up. Just another thing, just before we move on to patch testing. So, as you were saying, Jane, getting the models for the academy days, we obviously offering it free of charge. They're literally, we filled it. How quick did we fill the models up, Gemma? Literally, if you really have to, do it for free. I did quite a lot for free just to get my portfolio up. Take pictures at different angles of the same brow, or you know, and just keep posting it and just putting your watermark on or whatever, and it looked like you're just doing a lot more than you are. And take a picture of your pigments, like Faye's been taking arty shots of her machines and her pigments and stuff, and her room, you know, all sorts of little things. If you just anything, what brand of needles you use, you know, we'll give you all these ideas and stuff, like your cabin and things like that. So
and that's so true, actually, like
your feed out as well on your social media.
And
if you have to offer it for free, just offer it for free. Like, people will have it for free. There was one model, and she messaged me after. She said, are you sure you'll be fully supervising the students? And she's like, you'll be there, it'll be you, won't it? And I just was like, we don't need you here, because my priority is the students. I don't want someone like that on the day being all like fussy moo. So I just thought, no, we don't need you. So you do get a vibe for people. So no, we've got rid of her. So if you have to, cutthroat, can't be having that on the day. Or so you've just sort of learn to read people, and you know, you have to think of yourself. And we always say this, even in our career now, take the clients that you want, the happy clients. So even if someone's, this is bad, but it sounds bad, but even if someone's a little bit arsey on message to Paul, and I just don't get rid of her, don't wanna.
Do you know what I had last night? So she messaged, and James was like, he was going to type back something nice, and I was like, give it here. And I was like, let me reply to that one. And it was this lady, and she's like, oh hi, I'm really interested in microblading. And I was like, well, I don't really microblade anymore. These are the pictures that I like. She then screenshot a lady down the road.
Not yours.
Every single photo of this lady. And I could tell. So I was like, hey, hun, so I don't really microblade anymore. And all the pictures that you've shown me are Laurie's down the road. So what I suggest is that you just go and book in with her because she's really good as well. And James was just going to reply saying, oh, you know, something totally. And I was like, no, like literally, how rude that she's basically sent me pictures of someone else's work that literally is like 2 doors down, like literally no. So I was like, and if you love her work, just go with her, full stop sent. And so she replied saying, oh yeah, Laurie's full until June and I wanted it done. And I'm like, yeah, hun, I'm full to the end of the year.
I'm full to December. Bye, hun.
And she was like, oh. And I was like, done. James is like, I think she was just young, Gemma. I think you've overreacted on that one. I was like, no, done.
Yeah. So yeah, just moral of the story, works for you, girl, okay? So if it doesn't feel right, you don't feel right with that person, or you know, even if you get that person in your salon and you think, oh, I can't do this, it's more the nerves. You think that person's just gonna give you a bit of shit afterwards. Just say that I'm not the right artist for you, or I usually say you're not ready. Yeah, and I just send them away. I haven't done that for ages, actually. I tried to send this nurse away before lockdown in August or something, and her vein in her neck was literally going like this, where she was so nervous. I was like, this is too much for me, I'm not doing it. And then she just grabbed onto my arm and went, please. I did do them in the end. She was like, oh, that didn't hurt at all, did it? But nurses are just the worst. They are the worst patients. It's just like, oh my God, bless her.
But yeah, go with your gut. Right. Go with your gut.
Digress there a little bit.
I have a question about models.
Yes.
So basically, I've got a couple of girls that would like it done, but so 2 of them have already had their brows done. One's had machine before, and one's had microblading. What do we do in that situation?
Oh yeah, we do go through this on the you're going to find it quite, because it's been going around a long time, you're going to find it quite difficult to have, well, not quite difficult, I still get a lot of people with fresh skin that haven't had it done, but I would just say, I mean, feel free to send to Gemma and I the photos if you want beforehand, or you bring them on your academy days. We're seeing you soon, aren't we? We've got sort of examples of what we would touch and what we wouldn't touch. So, I mean, having a slight hue of colour there, and as long as the shape isn't dodgy, then I would say, yes, work over it. And if they're a bit of an odd tone, we're going to give you tips on how to correct the colour. This is what your colour wheel and your colour theory is going to be for. We just feel it's better to go through it in class. The colour theory is probably one of the hardest elements of permanent makeup, getting the right colour. Well, there's loads of elements, the right needle, the right shape, learning your skin. There's just too many elements. But colour theory is something that isn't really touched on that much. And you've got to get that right. So, yeah, if they're too saturated with colour, or they're really dodgy shapes, or basically you've got to think you're the last person working on that face. So if you're happy for them to walk around and say, oh, you know, Kate did these and they were an okay shape and quite faded out, and you think you can improve them, you're confident that you can, then yeah, take them on. But if they're, you know, one's up here, one's down here, they're literally black slugs, then you've got to say no, because that's going to be your advert walking around town, and they'll be like, oh my God, don't go to Kate, look what she did to her. You know, if you're thinking that, then the mums at the school will be thinking that, you know. So just a little tip there, all right?
The other thing is with cover-ups or anything, if they weren't happy with who they had, you know, when they say, oh, I had it done with so-and-so and I wasn't happy.
Why
and then they're going to a beginner, you've got to question that as well. Obviously, you know, if they've had it done, I always, you know, think if they've had it done badly, they need to go to someone that's more experienced to try and improve it. Do you know, if it's faded out and it's kind of disappeared and there's just a hue of colour there, yeah, go for it, it's fine. But if they are looking for a correctional, but they're still happy to go to someone that isn't, do you know, like isn't 4, 5, 6 years down the line and kind of got the knowledge behind them, you've got to question that they probably won't be happy with what you do as well, and will they ever be happy with what they have done, because they're just going from one person to the next and for the next like cheaper deal, do you know? So just think about
campaign budget, lemonade money type person, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair, one was years, I think the photos, one was like years and years ago.
Okay.
I barely see the lines. one is just like she had it done a couple of years ago and she just wants like a bit of a top up. So, but I'll get them both to send me photos.
Yeah, photos,
cool.
natural light, so not like in the light that I'm in now. They need natural light, so almost get them to stand outside, get them to do face photo, close up, and then maybe a video as well, like brushing through their brow so that you can actually really see them, because that's another thing that you'll get, is you get people that just take you a quick picture and they'll say they're wonky, but actually like their eyes
turn up and you're like,
or they're doing that, do you know, like, so you need to look at that as well. And especially the older ladies, like, you know, when they get to like 75 and they're trying to take a selfie of themselves.
Bless them, bless them.
Fab. Right, okay.
Patch testing. I was just going to say about patch testing before we totally digress there. So scratch testing, really. So we'll show, Gemma's done a video of how to do a patch test, scratch test. So what we want you to do is send, it's called a lancet. It's a tiny little bit of, it's a little
plastic with
tiny needle. We're going to scratch, pop it open, scratch, and then we send two little, they're like little conical shaped pots, one with some anaesthetic, one with some numbing. So we'll show you sort of how to do that. You could even, I'm trying to think what we did in our training days. This might be the best way to do it. So if we show you how to do it on the day, you could even order your lancets. We'll send the links to order your lancets and your little pots beforehand. We'll send you the video beforehand. So, and we could send you a link to get some numbing cream, although we didn't give that to you. You could patch test them sort of beforehand in the weeks leading up to your training if you wanted to, or you could have them if you're doing consultations, which wouldn't be a bad idea. You can do the scratch test then, maybe arrange to meet the clients before you actually tattoo them, just to get a feel for them, just to see if they're going to be a pain in the arse, just to see what they want, look at their brows and see what their expectations were. So we've got a section on how to hold a good, strong consultation as well. So I would advise, rather than just booking them straight in, might be a better idea. Would you say, Jem, do the consultation? So we don't do consultation, so I'm just literally thinking, yeah, that would be better for you to do a consultation, do the scratch test with them there and then. You've got to leave it a minimum of 48 hours and then you could have them back. But if you're happy to do them and you get a right feel for that person. So I'll send the whole
links. I'll send everything that you've got, like for patch testing. So literally you can order it all. There's a little form that we send with the patch test that they can, basically it shows them how to do it. Obviously you're going to be doing it with them, but you can obviously later on make them up if you want to post them. So it's entirely up to you. Your insurance companies as well. So whoever you go with your insurance companies, because we are accredited with ABT, you can get insurance with ABT. So I'll send in the links for the ABT as well, because you'll be able to get your insurance, your student insurance with ABT. I'll put that down. But it depends on your insurance to whether they allow you to send them out in the post or whether they make you come get the client in. Obviously at the moment, because we are kind of suggesting that you do consultations, that's fine, but later on down the line you need to have a look at your insurance documents to make sure that they're happy for you to still like post them. I'm with a company called Towergate now and they allow me to post mine. So one of my like kind of things when I look at an insurance company is, will they let me post my patch tests? So I always look at that as a first thing. What generally they'll say is it depends on the pigment line that you use and what the pigment line tells you to do. So like LI, I think they say patch, it just says you need to patch test. So I think it's a bit of a grey area in the whole business, this whole patch testing thing. And like my husband does insurance and he was like, you know, I don't think anything, if it comes down to it, I don't think any patch test will be enough, do you know, like anyway, because it's only a tiny little scratch. So but as long as
getting it in the skin rather than just putting a dot on the skin, so that's the way that we feel
is the best way.
Just a little scratch, it is going into the skin a little bit.
But later on this afternoon I'll send all of that, so it will be in today so that you can go back and kind of have a check, and then any questions you've got from it, just come back to us. Okay.
Amanda's got a question. Tell me yourself, honey.
Hi, yeah, because I'm going to be busy at work, you understand, I have time to do all these consultations coming in, so I've been doing like a digital one and sending the patch
Yeah.
test, the
Well,
pigment.
you're a bit more experienced at
I haven't been. Well, I just know how long it takes, and I haven't sent them any anaesthetic. So I've just said to them if they want to use the anaesthetic to go and buy some and patch test themselves. But are we going to be using like a secondary numbing agent, which I'll need to send as well?
So what secondary numb do you use at the moment with Fee?
I use a weird one that they recommended, and it's a little bit dodgy, I'll be honest.
Aren't they all?
Fee's a bit weird.
Okay, so
You know, like for instance, they sent us a link to this one from Germany, and then it all got like stopped customs, and I'm not entirely sure that what they tell us to buy is legal.
okay.
So the numbing cream is such a grey area. So it's not illegal in the UK. It's just not regulated. That's the right word, isn't it, Jade? Is it regulated or not?
Yeah. So there's one that we are going to recommend, and it's called Sustain, because Sustain has got basically for PMU. It's xylocaine, because there's xylocaine, lidocaine, benzocaine. Xylocaine is the one that is regulated to use on broken skin. Okay, so Sustain has got the highest amount of xylocaine in it. There are a few others which we'll tell you when we come on the training days, but that one is sort of the best of, not best of a bad bunch. It's a good numbing, but basically in the tattoo guidelines and regulations, it says that the client should apply the numbing themselves, and that is how we get around this. So if anyone were to ask, you could say to your client, are you okay with me applying this numbing? If they say yes, then that is sufficient. Do you get what I mean? All right, so just leave your numbing on the side. You're right for me to apply your numbing for you? Yes. So they've consented to you putting that numbing on. All right, but Amanda, just coming back to your what you were saying about the dodgy German numbing. Yeah, definitely. If it hasn't got an ingredient, I mean, Gemma and I, we've got one that we use. It hasn't got an ingredient list. It's amazing. But I've sent it to everybody because, you know, can't just then use it on the day. It hasn't got an ingredients list. We don't know what
We call it no name. We call it the no name number.
No name.
Yeah, it's got no name.
So yeah. It's great stuff, but
so we should buy Sustain and then send that out for patch testing.
Sustain is a good one, yeah.
So we're going to try and get some so that you can buy it when you're in the academy if you want to. Do you know? Because obviously, do you know, like, so we'll have some there, and then we'll give you links to buy it. But obviously, because it's such a grey area, and do you know what? It's not because we are dodgy, Jade. It's literally every single PMU artist uses a secondary numb, and they would be lying if they said they didn't. When we went on our training, they called it magic cream, and they put it into our pots, and then they gave us a person to contact. You know, that was 5 years ago. Do you know, like, so nothing has changed. Yeah, they turn around and said, this is your magic cream, and you're like, okay. Do you know,
can I just stress that nobody tell anybody that we are selling, we've got any to sell. That's really important, because if we're seen supplying this cream, we will literally get bollocks. Okay, so you have found this yourself, okay? But you won't be able to cope without it. So it's just one of those things. It's a bit
grey area.
Yes, I know.
Fab.
Right.
Okay, so let's go on to actually like hair stroke ombre brow design.
Oh, hun, sorry, we've got a question here.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah.
Unmute yourself.
Hi. With the patch testing, so I've obviously done a lot of patch tests on my clients from last year. So when I eventually do them, because of obviously, well, I mean, I patch tested them probably only about 5 months ago, but regarding COVID as well, do I need to re-patch test them?
It's not become a legal requirement.
No, okay, cool.
So, you know, well, I haven't got time for it. I haven't got time for it. If it was a requirement that my insurance said, you've got a re-patch test, or the NHBF have said that, then yeah, I probably would I? No, but I would. I mean, look, if someone's had COVID, or like, we've got to be aware like of the jab as well. So you can't have treatment 2 weeks before and after the jab as well, because there's been some immune issues with it. You know, it's just any injection really, it can sort of have effects on the immune system, which then can have effects on the permanent makeup peeling. So that's just something to be mindful of as well. I'm asking all my clients when we're booking them, well, Paul is, when he's booking them back in, if you had the jab, or we can't have the, you know, your treatment 2 weeks either side of the jab. So if they called for it and their appointment's a couple of days after, they know that they've got to move it. So
just another one.
Cool. Let's have a look. So just with regards to, did you all get my voice note and Gemma's voice note about the we want you to do 3 hair straight brows, 3 ombre brows on latex. Send them in. If you send it, we'll just set a date. Just if you send them, say by a Monday. Just so we can have a look where you're all at. And also if you could just sort of map a brow out, or just grab hold of someone, a friend, a mum, someone in your household, don't care if it's your husband or your child, just do some brow mapping.
You've got the Betty heads as well, I think.
Of course, yeah.
So you can do it on Betty head as well.
Yes, Betty head, how did I forget? And bananas. Get your wrists up off a flat surface, just have a little go. Just send them bits and pieces on a Monday.
That's not this now, just so that we can just like, it gets you into the habit and gets your muscle memory, do you know, like, and if we set a goal, it's more like, you know, that you've got to do it, do you know, so because sometimes life gets in the way, and we all know that, but when you've got something that you go, right, I've got a deadline, it sometimes just helps, you know. So I think that's one of the important things now. The more you practice, the more you send it in, the more feedback we can give you, and it's tiny, and like some of them are tiny ones, do you know, like, so, oh, do you know, like, just soften your arches a little bit, do you know, do that, do you know, and it's little tiny tweaks, but that's what's going to make you from being confident or okay to being good, do you know, and that's the level we're at. The stuff that we've seen, we are being gobsmacked with, do you know, some of the things that you've been sending have been amazing, so we're so chuffed where you are, but we just want to make sure that everyone is singing off the same tune, and you know, like, we're not leaving anyone behind, and we just literally want everyone to feel confident walking into those academy days, and
the more you put in now, you will get sort of more out of it, if that makes sense. So if you're struggling to find the time to just put into this, then this probably sounds a bit harsh. You have to make the time, because how are you going to make the time sort of for your models? It is tough, and as we said before, we even, you know, when we had our first chats with you, when we were taking your deposit, this does take over your life a bit at the beginning. If you want to succeed at it, you're going to have to put a bit of blood, sweat and tears into it, but it is worth it. It's so worth it. And you will feel fantastic. And Jem and I were talking the other day about some previous beginner training she's done, and the girls literally got their machine and they were tattooing her face that day. So I just feel so pleased that we've got the machines out to you at home. COVID's actually done us a massive favour. We're going to continue to do this for all of our beginner training, send them the machine beforehand, because I feel like, and I think you'll agree, you're going to feel so much more confident when you come to those practical days. It's going to be a really lovely time. We're going to all have a lovely time, you know. You're not going to be having panic attacks in the corner, breathing into brown bags and stuff, you know. It's going to be good. It'll just feel, the only component is it's going to be on a human and not on some latex, you know. So you're all doing so well. Gemma and I are like so proud of you all. It's really, really good.
And so we're going to get you to bring your machines for your training, because even though it'll be the same machine but different if we provided it, you've all got your own machines, and you probably have all got yourself in your own little world with your machine. So you're going to bring your machine so you feel like it's yours. This is mine. I feel confident with it. You know, like, so we just want you to bring it, and then it's yours, do you know, like, and I think that you all know how you've set it up the day before. It won't feel kind of alien to you. So so you'll bring yours on the day, and that'll be yours. No one else will touch it except for Jade and I, when we kind of help and support you. And then we'll obviously provide every single, you know, don't need to bring any needles, anything else. It will literally just be your machines that you need to bring. and your power supplies, and then we'll have everything there at the academy ready.
Just know that we've got a full manual. It's sort of like 150 pages-ish. It's got everything that we've it's covered on the online learning and the business school, testing, how to hold a consultation, your treatment room, forms. We're putting all your forms up onto the online portal. There's a model form as well. All your medical health forms you to give clients, the client consent, the treatment advice, aftercare, all of that is there. Okay, so what we're going to do is put it up. We can put it up blank, can't we, Gem? And then you can use all of this and put your logo onto it. And they're all fully insurable. Okay, so we'll tell you about record keeping as well. We've literally covered everything, so you know that you've got this hard copy. If you're midway through, you're about to start a client, you think, shit, I can't remember what they said to do with this, or I've forgotten how to stretch, like we've got pictures of stretching and stuff like that. You can just excuse yourself, I've just got to go to the toilet, or I've just got to grab something. You can just, it's what we used to do. We used to run in, didn't we, Jem? Like literally flick through the manual and go, oh, that's it. Because there's a lot to take in. So everything's going to be there, hard copy as well. So, you know, just a referable book. It's going to be literally your little baby. Okay, so you're going to get that on the day as well as the rest of your kit.
Little things as well, as I used to write out like little bullets. So I used to go through the manual, and then literally I'd have, like, when I was doing lips, it would be like 1, etch around using small circles, 2, add. Remember we used to add orange in? We had to add orange.
Oh, lips.
Yeah, lips.
I didn't do any lips after the first one or two.
I literally was like, right, okay, I know what I'm doing. So literally, it's almost like a tick shot, like tick list, so that you know, and little things like take photo now, do you know, so that you know you need to take a photo. So if you have like little notes by you, your clients won't care. Do you know, they won't even notice, do you know, because, you know, so literally I just used to have it underneath my trolley, big enough that I could read without having to pick it up, and literally just like, right, yeah, I know I'm on the right track. Just as a little bit of a guidance. So it's like little your own bullet points, so it's your own way of like remembering things, you know, like, so even if it's like, you know, that you always do something like on after your training days, it's something that we said to you time and time again, you know, like lift your pen up, or make sure you're doing this, make sure you're doing that, write that down so you have it. Remember, like every time you go, oh, remember, like I know that I needed to push more, do you know, like as in like my pressure was just so light. I was hardly scratching the surface. So for me, it was like, slow down, feel the friction, do you know, feel that cat's purr, do you know, make sure that I can actually feel what I was doing. So I just had, every time I looked at it, I was like, right, concentrate again, do you know, because sometimes your brain will just like drift somewhere, and you just need to be put back into real, like, right, yeah, this is what I'm doing. So yeah, fab. Have we got anything else on the list?
You ticked everything off? No, have you ticked everything off that you needed to tick off? Everyone's done their online learning, injections, room. If has anyone got any questions about anything else? Just anything.
Yes, Julia.
Rules.
With the latex, like the 3 sets of brows, your straight, your ombre, do you want us to just do the sets and just take photos, or do you want us to video anything?
No, just photos is fine at this point, I think. Yeah, photos is fine. If there's something you want to show us and a video would be better, then send a video. Do you know, if you think it's something like that we'll see better. But anyway, just so that we can kind of see and kind of just tweak if we need to. Do you know, like, so literally I'll just screenshot, draw over it, send it back.
So would it be useful for us to video doing the mapping, even on the Betty heads?
Can do.
Or just take
photos. We're going to take photos. I mean, we're going to see you doing it. We're going to get you to sort of pair up and do it on each other as well.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not sure, it just came to me what the regulations are now, Jem, with like visors and stuff like this. I don't actually even know, do you? It's just been so long since we. Obviously, we're going to have masks at the academy if you want to wear them.
I think it's. I've seen, like, when Jasmine, she only
can't sit there all day in a mask. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't. Everyone feels different about COVID. I'm sort of a bit. Is it as real as we say it is? I don't believe it is. when we're obviously working in each other's faces and doing the mapping and stuff, yes, all have a mask on. If you want to bring your preferred mask, if you've got a reusable one, that's fine. Obviously you're not going to be able to wear a visor. One of you could wear a visor if that would make the other one comfortable. Tell you what, we'll have visors there. If you want to wear them, wear them. That might be more comfortable than a mask. But if you want to bring a mask, but we'll have spare masks. Should we leave it like that? They've not sort of said that we've got to have a mask and a visor. They did last year, didn't they? But I don't know if that's changed. I'll look into that.
And when we're doing like all of the theory and stuff, you'll all be sat, you know, like a little bit apart anyway, do you know, so you're not going to be on top of each other. So literally it's only going to be when you're kind of drawing on each other and when you're actually doing your practicals, which you'll be wearing your mask anyway, do you know, like that's just you, like for me, when I'm in work, when I'm actually tattooing, regardless of who it is, I always have my mask on anyway,
Yeah,
like so it's just because I feel naked without it. But obviously before COVID, as soon as you stop tattooing, you'd take it off, whereas now you're supposed to leave it on, and that's just dependent on like person as well. So yeah, do what you feel comfortable with. Fab. Any other questions, ladies?
What are people wearing? I know that seems like such a shallow question.
What are we wearing? Jeans and a nice top.
We don't know what we're going to wear yet, do we?
Salon tunic, if you've got one. I mean, so when you're actually tattooing, you've got to have short sleeves, and we recommend that you, once you've finished, boil your clothes at 90 degrees. So I mean, the reason why we say that tunics is just easier. You don't have to think about what you're wearing, and they can be boiled up nice. So if you've got like a nice top and you think, right, I'm not going to boil that, and don't wear it. But I mean, we just say tunic just because, you know, you might get pigment splats on you. It's just
black, ideally. Yeah, black.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't matter. White, clean, closed-toe shoes are a must.
Okay. No stilettos.
Yeah, just something comfy. Okay. As well, you know, don't come in a tracksuit just because that'll ruin our photos at the end, I think. But yeah, something smart, neat, you know. But yeah, it's up to you. I mean, at my all-round training, I was the only one wearing a tunic, and I was the only one that wasn't a beautician. And I thought, oh. But I mean, it was just me. It's just what I feel comfortable doing. And I just felt like I was in work mode. I was in salon mode, you know, wearing it. So, like Monica and Courtney, don't they? They wear all Gucci blouses and leather skirts and tights and high-heeled boots. And I was just like, how the freaking hell are you working in that? And are you going to boil that Gucci blouse? No. So, I don't know.
Thank you.
Tell you to do it properly, but you know, whatever you do in your salon is up to you. But just hygienic. So don't come with loads of jewelry, bracelets and necklaces and hooped earrings and things like that. So little particles can splatter onto your jewelry and things like this. So rings can break your gloves. Just be mindful of all that. So you'd have to autoclave or really, really clean all your jewelry. So we get you to take them off, watches off. Just leave it all at home. Not worth it. Should be washing all your arms and everything. I'm
a bugger. I wear long sleeves because I get so cold.
Yeah.
I do that though. Does that make any difference?
I just can't do it. Things just stick in my mind, and I'm just like, oh no, don't do that.
Can I just ask, on the first day of the when we come to the academy, have we got like a little exam? Are we sitting?
No, there'll be like little questions, but it probably won't be like exam.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be random questions testing your knowledge of the online learning. So we'll know if you haven't done it.
The thing is like, as long as you've got the idea, like it's something you won't be able. If you can't remember the exact word, you know, we're not going to get it. You know the understanding of it. That's what we're looking for. Do you know? So like a lot of people got a dermis and epidermis the wrong way round. Do you know? Like so. You know, things like that, as long as you know it's going into the second layer of the skin, you know, like, and you're like, the epidermis, do you know, as long as you know, then we'll be fine with that. So,
yeah, we're not going to be trunchballs. Cool. All right. So, yeah, it's just a little catch up, really. I hope we've covered everything you wanted to ask. We're literally going to go through so much when we see you. We're so excited. Doing really well so far, well done. But yeah, if there's anything you're sort of feel that you are struggling with or lagging behind with, and you have got the videos there, I just urge you to just make some time now to just sit on your own in quiet, watch these videos that we've given you, just pause them as many times as you need, go back, whether it's the pattern, whether it's the brow mapping, whether it's holding the machine in the right way, just go back and watch those and just give you, just let it go in if there's something that you're feeling a little bit underconfident with, because then you'll arrive at your practical days and think, yeah, I've put the time into that part. Everyone's a different learner. Everyone will sort of struggle with certain things and be brilliant at other things compared to the person next year, you know. So yeah, we appreciate that, but just now's the time to just knuckle down and focus. But yes, look forward to receiving your brows on your Betty, on your latex bananas, wherever you're doing them, and some brow mapping on husbands, dogs, children, mums and
the
stuff.
YouTube channel as well, I've made it like public, because else I have to send you a link every time we put something in, so it's public. Obviously don't tell, you know, anyone else about it. It's our little thing. We're not kind of making it a massive, do you know, like we don't want everyone on it. It's really for our students, but it's easier just to make it public so that we can just keep adding things and you'll see it. So I added a couple of things the other day, so you might not have been on, or you might have been on. There's a few extra things that I think we set into the WhatsApp group, but now it's on the YouTube channel, and we'll just keep adding as we do things. We'll just keep adding onto that YouTube channel, so you can just re-watch as many times as you want. Okay. Thanks, ladies. Have a lush Sunday.
Yes, enjoy.
Right, I'm going to stop recording.
Cool.